Live from Ann Arbor, Michigan, this is Veterans Radio. And now, here's your host, Dale Throneberry.
My name is Dale Throneberry. Joining me in the studio this evening is my co-host and friend and buddy, Bob Gould.
How you doing, Dale? And how you doing, everybody out there?
I think everybody's doing great. This is finally a beautiful weekend here in southeastern Michigan. The rains have kind of dissipated, and I think we're going to be, or dissipated, let's put it that way, and I think we're going to do great. Our program today is dedicated to a lot of different things, but mostly we're going to be talking about D-Day. And as some of you out there may know, we're coming up on the 62nd anniversary of D-Day, the world's largest invasion in the history of man, ever.
Probably never to be repeated either.
I would think not, but we're going to be talking with a participant who took part in the invasion of D-Day, actually Pointe-Du-Hoc, and climbed up those cliffs, and we'll find out more about that later. And we're going to be talking with the curator and CEO of the D-Day Museum, better known now as the official World War II Memorial Museum, I believe is what it's called. And
that's
we'll get that corrected. That is a scoop for us. I just did that on Friday.
I understand it. It hasn't been released to the newspapers yet.
That's right, and that's an act of Congress. And we're also going to be talking with Brigadier General Lizinski, right? Lizinski from the American Battle Memorial Commission. And they are responsible for all of the overseas cemeteries and memorials that have been established because of the various wars and conflicts that we have been involved in. And he's going to be talking to us about those cemeteries, especially in the Normandy area.
I had a chance to go on that website today and play the video. They're beautiful. They are just beautiful. It makes you proud to be an American and to think of the sacrifices that those men made and women made.
Yeah, I'm interested to find out. My question is it American territory or is it French still? And who takes care of it?
General Lizinski would know.
I would think he would. And anyway, we're going to be getting to that in just a couple of moments. A couple of news things that I wanted to just briefly touch on for those of you veterans out there that are worried about your identity theft that occurred when the Veterans Affairs employee took the disc home and somehow the disc was stolen.
Yeah, right.
There is some confusion. They are saying now that it's 26 million members of the military that have been discharged after 1975. So it's not completely figured out yet. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, each week we do a welcome home segment of Veterans Radio, and normally what we do is we welcome home the troops that are coming home from Iraq and Afghanistan. This week we're going to welcome home all the survivors of World War II, because without you men and women, we wouldn't be here. So on behalf of Veterans Radio and Gary Lilly and Associates, our sponsor for our welcome home segment, we say thank you, thank you, thank you.
In 1966, Gary Lilly put in 82-hour work weeks as a Navy Seabee in Vietnam, and that was after his unit was given Sunday afternoons off. While he no longer helps build airfields and fire bases, Gary is no stranger to 12 or even 14-hour workdays. That's the type of commitment you receive when you let Gary Lilly and Associates handle your real estate matters. Hard work, professionalism, and creative marketing, which is a secret to the success of any business. Now, Gary Lilly is proud to be a part of Veterans Radio, which will air at 7 p.m. every Sunday evening right here on Talk Radio 1600 WAAM. There are over 400,000 veterans living in the WAAM coverage area. If you know a veteran, please tell them about Veterans Radio. And if you know someone who wants to buy or sell commercial real estate, tell them to call Gary Lilly and Associates Realtors at 800-345-6694. That's 800-345-6694, or go to www.garylilly.com. www.garylillie.com.
How would you like to save 50% the next time you need to replace all those cartridges for your printers, copiers, and fax machines?
Oh, you bet. But where can I do that?
At Cartridge World of Ann Arbor in the Colonnade Shopping Center on Eisenhower Parkway. And Cartridge World will refill or remanufacture any of your cartridges. They specialize in matching any ink or toner, and they guarantee their work 100%.
Okay. But why would I want to refill a cartridge?
Because did you know that a printer cartridge thrown away in a landfill can take up to 450 years to decompose?
450 years?
And that in North America alone, over 350 million cartridges a year are just tossed in the trash.
So what can I do?
You can go to Cartridge World of Ann Arbor, located in the Colonnade Shopping Center, to get all of your ink and laser cartridges refilled. Not only will they save you money, but you'll also be protecting our environment.
That sounds good to me.
It is good for you, and it's good for me. Cartridge World of Ann Arbor, 734-213-1739. That's 734-213-1739. Cartridge World of Ann Arbor in the Colonnade Shopping Center.
A nifty Happy Days lunchbox, mint condition. The turn signal from a 68 Camaro SS. A 500-kilo Mega Gig MP3 player. What do these have in common? Well, for one, they're all things you might find in that cyber wonderland called eBay. And for another, you could ship any one of them anywhere in the U.S. for just $8.10. That's the beauty of Priority Mail flat rate boxes from the United States Postal Service. Whether you're shipping a rare piece of celebrity body lint, a gross of mood rings, or almost anything else you can put in a flat rate box, if it fits, it ships for $8.10. It's the most exciting use of cardboard this side of that life-size Uncle Sam cutout you were bidding on last week. Plus, now you can win $10,000 to spend on eBay in the Ship It, Win It sweepstakes. Pick up a flat rate box and entry form at a participating post office. $10,000. That, my friend, is a lot of lava-lights. No purchase necessary, void where prohibited. Sweepstakes end 6/30/06. Must be a legal U.S. resident 18 or older. You can also enter and get official rules at shipitwinit.com.
Talk Radio 1600 WAAM.
And we are back on Veterans Radio on this D-Day week of the 62nd anniversary of the invasion of Normandy and a number of other places along the northwestern French coast. And joining us in our first segment this evening is Nick Mueller, President and CEO of, do I give the new name or the old name?
Well, the new name is the National World War II Museum, but, of course, America knows us first as the National D-Day Museum, so since we're coming anniversary, you can use the old name if you like.
Okay, but I did notice that if you go to the ddaymuseum.org website, that you have a new message up there saying, here's the news.
That's the news, and of course, Congress some time ago gave us the designation official National World War II Museum, and so we've just taken on that name legally and officially now, and we're engaged in a massive $300 million expansion to cover 2 city blocks that will cover all the campaigns and theaters of World War II, a new 4D multi-sensory theater that Tom Hanks is executive producer of, and a Liberation Victory Pavilion, and United States Pavilion with the home front stories, and all the service branches, including the Merchant Marine, are going to be included in this exhibit to give people a true sense of the journey that Americans went through during the World War II years, both at home and abroad.
Well, Nick, one of the things we have to point out to our audience, maybe most of them know it, but I'm not sure, is that the National World War II Museum is in New Orleans.
That's correct. It is in New Orleans, and not to be confused with the wonderful National World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C., on the Mall. The Mall, that memorial, of course, is a place where people go to remember. Mm-hmm. And we think people come here to learn. This is an extraordinary museum with some of the most interesting, intriguing interactions anywhere in the world, and it's going to get an awful lot better. Right now, there's millions of people who have visited, and over 130,000 members and part of this. Most of the people come from around the country to see this place, just to see it.
Well, how did you survive Katrina?
Well, we survived better than most, but we did have our share of problems. There was looting of our gift store, our coffee shop, but fortunately we have these steel doors that close down over the exhibits where all of our precious artifacts are, and very, very expensive exhibits that are part of the permanent exhibition, and those were spared. Naturally, we closed for 3 months because of the storm. There was for a long time. the city. It took over a month to drain the city. The tourists are just now starting to come back, and it's we're bouncing back. We've been open since the 1st of December, and we just had our victory ball, our annual victory ball, and declared victory. So we made it through the year. Things are looking up. We did have to do what almost every business and organization had to do down here. We had to cut our budget dramatically and lay off staff with the expectation that there would be no visitors for about 3 or 4 months.
Sure, I can understand that. How is your fundraising going?
Fundraising is going well. We've had several fundraisers around the country. We have been raising on the capital side. We had raised $20 million the year before on that side, and this year, because we were sort of out of business for a while, we've done a little less than that, but we're still moving forward and have just completed the first phase of our expansion. So that's the good news in this very tough year for New Orleans. We completed Discovery Hall, which is a K-12 education center with distance learning capabilities and special teacher-student resource rooms for when school trips and field trips come here. We have a dedicated area to take them with our docents and our curators, and we can also now have the capacity to broadcast via the web and other compressed video to schools and teachers and classrooms around the country as they learn about what we can do and we hook up with them. So we can now transport our materials and serve the entire nation in a genuine way.
I think that's a great advantage to have. I know that I teach some classes and I get into some history segments, and I'm always trying to find information that I can download and I can show, because you want to make it so it's personal to your students, so that they understand, so they can see. I mean, it's interesting to read it in a book, but until you see it in a photograph or a film clip or something like that, it just doesn't seem to hit home.
Right. We have photographs, we have film clips, we have oral histories, and we have all kinds of lesson plans for teachers around certain events of the war that are already prepared for them, and these are accessible through our education department, and they really can bring the classroom and bring the history to life. Well,
I can understand that, and of course we have a little anniversary date coming up here on Tuesday.
That's right.
And
big day for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, a big day. It's a D-Day anniversary and museum birthday. Are you going to have a celebration?
Well, we will. We always do. This year is really special. When Stoops stormed ashore 62 years ago this Tuesday, of course, we were going there to liberate Normandy first and then the rest of Europe from the forces of totalitarianism, the Axis powers. But Normandy was first to be liberated, and the little city, Saint-Mère-Église, was right in the middle of the airborne drops, and they have a small museum there, and in a way to show their desire to repay us for what we did for them 62 years ago. Their museum officials are coming here on Tuesday to present us with a check for $100,000 and all kinds of unique artifacts from that invasion that we'll be able to incorporate into our exhibit. So in a way, they have come to our rescue the way we did to theirs 62 years ago, and we just think that's just absolutely a wonderful gesture, and we're developed a formal relationship and partnership with that museum now.
I think that's great. Not only to refill your coffers is always a great idea too, and since you are completely supported by donation only, correct?
Well, donations, memberships, and of course people who, the visitors who come. And of course this year with no visitors coming and no opportunities to sell merchandise and gift store items, those are two of the primary anchors of our revenue, and we just went down to practically no visitors all in the city. Mm-hmm. The first major convention coming back to the city is this week, coming up here, the American Library Association. So all the big conventions canceled out of the city for the last 9 months, but they're all starting to rebook and come back, and the city is alive and well and kicking, and we've got our restaurants and attractions open, and museum, our museum is open. The Aquarium of the Americas is open, and the French Quarter, of course, is. And we were not touched by the waters here. We're on the high. Our museum and the French Quarter and all of that area along the river is the highest part of the city. So it wasn't the flood that got us. It was just the fact that the city got shut down.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Bob had a question.
Nick, this is Bob Gould here. How are you tonight? Good talking with you again. Good talking with you again. One of the things that you offer are tours. I know you have a tour right now in Normandy, and perhaps you just quickly want to touch on scheduling coming up for tours?
Yes. You mean the future tours? We have another Normandy scheduled in September, led by one of our research historians, Marty Morgan, who's the head of that department, and he's absolutely extraordinarily and knowledgeable. Has done documentaries and books on the airborne drop, and he is an expert leader of these tours, and kind of in the same tradition of Stephen Ambrose, who took so many great tours to Normandy, with one of your guests who was very prominent, Len Lomell, on several occasions. And in any event, we have that one, and then we also have a Pacific tour going in on the Clipper Odyssey ship next April. Leaving Hong Kong, going to Okinawa and up through the islands to Japan. And then we have another Clipper Odyssey tour doing the Mediterranean campaign from Malta, Sicily, and up through Italy. And this gives us an opportunity to have our group on the ship with our historians and to make excursions by bus ashore to all of the major campaign sites and battle sites along the way. And it's a marvelous, marvelous way to have a history and educational tour with both veterans and historians. Okay,
Nick, I want to thank you very much. Your website currently is ddaymuseum.org. And our listeners can find all that information that we were talking about and set up the tours and everything like that. And I want to thank you very much for being on Veterans Radio. And I'm glad that you're back, and I hope that you have a great celebration on Tuesday.
Okay, thank you. We also have, I want to mention, we have an inbound package tour, too, for 3 days in New Orleans that people can find out information on the website. Okay. And if they want to come here, we have it all arranged with hotels and buses and special lectures, not just visits to the museum, and special presentations that they wouldn't get otherwise. So they could check in on that, too, if they want to come to New Orleans. The best thing New Orleans people can do for America right now is come to this city. It'll give us all a great lift and demonstrate American spirit from World War II.
All right. Everybody's going to New Orleans, and we'll meet you there down there. Nick, thank you very much for being on Veterans Radio.
Okay, Bob, thank you. And say hi to Len Lomell and General Lazinski. Both good friends.
We will do that. We'll be right back. You're listening to Veterans Radio. And we're back on Veterans Radio, and we are talking about D-Day today. We just finished talking with Nick Mueller, the president and CEO of the D-Day Museum, better known now as the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. And well, I'll tell you, if you could ever get any of you out there get the opportunity, go on down to New Orleans, as he said, and check out the new museum. I think it sounds like it's going to be spectacular.
I think those packages really sound cool. 3 days in New Orleans, you could hit the French Quarter and
the Ninth Ward and all those really fun places.
Right. I mean, like he says, they'll arrange to have the hotel. I like it.
I know that.
Might just do that.
All right, and going into our next segment, we're going to be talking with our next guest, Brigadier General William Lazinski, and you are in charge of the American Battle Monuments Commission. Is that correct, sir?
Well, actually, I'm not in charge of it. I'm the Executive Director and Chief Operating Officer for the American Battle Monuments Commission.
Well, all right. You're not the big cheese, but you're pretty close.
He's not the 4-star, but
okay. All right. Well,
I'm just a small cog in the whole mix.
Okay. Well, we welcome you to Veterans Radio, General, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. And I'm really interested in finding out more about what the mission of the commission is.
Well, I'll tell you that the American Battle Monuments Commission is a small independent agency within the executive branch of the federal government, and we've got less than 400 people worldwide. Of course, the majority of our people, as you would expect, a host nation personnel. And the commission was established on March 4th, 1925, 1923 at the initiative of then General of the Army's John J. Pershing to commemorate the services, sacrifice, and achievements of the United States Armed Forces where they've served since 6 April 17. General Pershing was the Commission's first chairman, and he held that position until his death in 1948. And every single day we attempt to live up to what he wanted us to do, and that's never let people forget the sacrifices that the people who came before us made in our behalf.
And so this commission began during World War I.
Well, actually,
as a result of World War I.
In 1923, and again at the initiative of General of the Army Pershing to commemorate the services, sacrifices, and achievements of the U.S. Armed Forces where they served since 6 April 17, which was the date that the United States entered into World War I.
All right, and the responsibilities of the commission are what?
Well, I think the bottom line, if you want to look for what we do, we run the 24 military cemeteries that are located overseas and 25 memorials, monuments, and markers in 15 different countries worldwide. Now, out of those, 8 are World War I cemeteries, and 14 of those are World War II cemeteries, and we also have 2 others, one located in Mexico City and in Corozal, Panama. We also have 25 memorials, monuments, and markers, as I said, in 15 different countries, and 15 of those are World War I standalone monuments, memorials, and markers, and the rest of them, 10, are from World War II, and they are equally impressive, as are our cemeteries.
Bill, this is Bob Gould here. How are you?
Hi, Bob. Nice to be with you.
Thank you. Corozal American Cemetery in Panama. Now, what part of hostilities was that a part of?
Well, I think Corozal, along with Mexico City, is a little bit different, and not many people know much about Corozal. But the bottom line, it's located in Corozal, in the Republic of Panama, which is approximately 3 miles north of Panama City itself. And right now, we've got over 5,000 identified known dead that are buried there, and they consist of American servicemen and women and workers who were associated with the construction and the maintenance of the Panama Canal. And as part of an agreement with the Republic of Panama, American Battle Monuments Commission assumed responsibility for the care and maintenance of the cemetery in perpetuity on 1 October 1979. So that's how we became responsible for Corozal American Cemetery.
Of the cemeteries that are in France, since we're going to be talking about Normandy with Len Lomell shortly, are those cemeteries owned by France, or is it land that has been deeded to the United States, or how does that work?
Well, the land has been, for all our cemeteries, have been given to us in perpetuity for the burial of our war dead. Many people are somewhat confused, and they think that the land has been given to us outright, much in the same status as our embassies overseas. But that's incorrect. The land, again, has been given to us by the nations in perpetuity for the burial of our war dead.
Okay, and so we have cemeteries in France and throughout Europe, probably.
That's correct. We have some. The majority of our cemeteries are located on the east side of the Atlantic Ocean. We have 2 of them in the UK. We have 1 in Luxembourg. We have 3 in Belgium. We have 1 in Netherlands. We have 2 in Italy. We have 1 in Tunisia, and we have 11 in France. And if I did my addition right, that should add up to about 21 of them, which are located on the far side of the Atlantic Ocean. And all of them are absolutely breathtaking. They're meticulously maintained, and they certainly are a fitting tribute to the sacrifices of our war dead.
They certainly are spectacular, and I would encourage our listeners, if you've never been to Normandy or any of the even the national cemeteries, is that you can go to the website. It's called abmc.gov, And there's a great video on there that kind of gives you a visual tour of many of the cemeteries and many of your monuments.
I also noticed that when I went to the website today, that there was a feature that you were able to locate someone and tell the site and actually get a map to there.
Yeah, that's correct. If you want to do some kind of investigation, for example, if you have a friend or relative and next of kin who's buried in one of our cemeteries, if you go to our website, you can just follow right along with the prompts, and the website will be able to tell you if the individual is in fact interred in our cemeteries and which one that person where the remains are.
Okay. We need to take a break. Please hang on the line. We'll be back with the General and with our guest, Len Lomell, in just one moment. You're listening to Veterans Radio.
The Medal of Honor is the highest award for valor in combat given a member of the Armed Forces of the United States. There have been over 3,400 recipients of the nation's highest award. This is one of them. Second Lieutenant Patrick Regan continued to lead his platoon forward despite his wounds. Details after this. While leading his platoon against a strong enemy machine gun nest, which had held up the advance of two companies, Regan divided his men into three groups, sending one group to either flank and he himself attacking with an automatic rifle team from the front. Two of the team were killed outright, while Regan and the third man were seriously wounded, the latter unable to advance. Although severely wounded, Reagan dashed with an empty pistol into the machine gun nest, capturing 30 enemy gunners and 4 machine guns. Reagan continued to lead his men until ordered to the rear.